Hey all, welcome to ShareTrack. This is Raj here. I'm back again with one more video. Today I have more updates about Ginkgo Bioworks. This company is a serial acquisition company, and believe it or not, they've acquired another company recently. I'm going to talk about that today, and I'm going to update you on my list of concerns about Ginkgo Bioworks and where it's going. And I would invite you to give me a feedback as well. I do have my concerns about the corporate structure and their cash balance. I've spoken about that earlier. I'm going to update those concepts again in this video. But before I proceed, I would like to give you all a heads up that I have activated the Super Thanks feature. So if you feel generous and you want to support the channel, you can use the Super Thanks feature to donate to the channel. So I'm looking forward to that. With that said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. From my previous video, you already know that I have serious concerns about the rapid acquisitions conducted by Ginkgo Bioworks and have been advocating for some consolidation and transparency on economies achieved as a result of structural and capital consolidation of assets that have been acquired. We also need to eliminate risk of command and control breakdown, especially because when Ginkgo takes over a company and lets go of most of the employees and retains a few, at that point of time, we really have a question of how those assets have been consolidated, what is the command and control of the hierarchy, the human assets. So all those things become a question. So we need some transparency on that, in the absence of which we assume that they have done all the things that they need to do, but it kind of assumptions become a risk always. So that's a concern. Recently, I read an article that described Ginkgo Bioworks in a very, very powerful manner. And friends, the passage that I'm going to read is going to contain a lot of hype jargon, and that's another thing that scares me. You're going to hear words like stack and full stack and those kind of concepts. So here is what it said. Ginkgo Bioworks is getting ready for another year of disrupting the entire biotech industry model with its versatile menu of biology engineering services as a full stack synthetic biology service provider. And Ginkgo does everything from developing new flavor and fragrances to engineering entire organisms for crop treatments and living medicines. Over the last year, Ginkgo has been making moves into biopharma. Their latest announcement is something called Enzyme Intelligence service. In the human body alone, there are around 2,700 enzymes, and many of those are targets for treating diseases. For the chemical industry, enzymes are important tools that make and break chemical bonds. And for the bioeconomy, they are essential drivers for building a sustainable future. The Enzyme Intelligence service that Ginkgo have built is built on a machine language guided enzyme engineering stack that draws on our foundry's established strengths in assembling smart DNA libraries, engineering organisms, and screening in ultra high throughput. The result is the new Ginkgo enzyme services offering that enables their customers to discover new enzymes and optimize existing ones. DNA has developed through extensive R&D the capability of developing and perfecting custom enzymes for optimal performance. They call this process enzyme engineering. As we already know, Ginkgo's code base, which the company refers to as the biological portfolio, contains DNA sequences that can be used to train their newly acquired machine learning algorithms to recognize the features that contain the desired qualities for enzyme engineering and thus arrive from target enzyme to actual production in a very short period of time. Earlier, this used to be a manual process and it used to take a longer time, and now with machine learning, it's going to become faster. The code base is getting more and more powerful with each passing project, and the IP becomes more and more valuable. And every subsequent customer that comes to Ginkgo is going to have less and less time between their request and the delivery of the enzymes that they wanted. Ginkgo says its database currently contains close to 1 billion sequences, and all that wealth of genetic information is available to their customers as soon as they sign an agreement or a contract. Here is a graphic that shows recent acquisitions that have added to Ginkgo's capability to be a full-stack synthetic biology service provider. Here you can see that I have DNA and a bunch of companies out here. This is by no means sum of all the acquisitions of DNA. but this is pertinent to the scope of my discussion today. So DNA, I think in 2019, they took over Warp Drive Bio, which has a genome mining platform. So they got that. Then recently they took over Zymergen for $75 million, and immediately they came up with a $100 million public offering. I think that would have compensated for the $75 million spent on Zymergen and left them with $25 million. Then Zymergen had already taken over Radiant Therapeutics for industrial platform for natural product and gene discovery. And Zymergen had already taken over Lodo Therapeutics for vast collection of environmental microbial DNA. So they got all these assets from these companies. This is like a cluster actually. So earlier I was just looking at DNA taking over Zymergen, but now you can see that Zymergen had just taken over Radiant and Lodo. So this is becoming very, very scary for me because how are you going to manage all these kind of moving parts and also run a successful company and stay on top of innovation and deliver shareholder value? So that's my main concern. That's another risk that comes to mind. And on top of this, the latest news is that Ginkgo Bioworks has now gone and acquired the adeno-associated virus capsid discovery and engineering platform assets of a company called StrideBio. AAV, or adeno-associated virus, is what is used to deliver CRISPR payloads and genetic payloads into the cells. The acquisition, this particular acquisition will allow Ginkgo Bioworks to incorporate the assets and intellectual property of StrideBio into its end-to-end AAV gene therapy development platform. The assets and IP acquired include StrideBio's library of capsids, which includes advanced candidates extensively tested in large animal models, as well as intellectual property and data for StrideBio's lead preclinical asset for arrhythmogenic right ventricular cardiomyopathy. Ginkgo Bioworks aims to use the assets to enhance its ability to design an AAV gene therapy and support its partners throughout the process. And the company has been expanding its work and capabilities in gene therapy in recent years with acquisitions and partnerships in circular RNA, AAV manufacturing, and capsid engineering. In my personal opinion, I think the industry is moving away from AAV platforms because of immune response issues from patients. Those whose bodies have faced AAV once develop immunity to it, thus restricting repeat doses of therapy. In fact, in my last video on Feng Zheng, who is the founder of Beam Therapeutics, I showcased how they are working on bacterial syringes as delivery vehicles for CRISPR. We also have liquid nanoparticles for delivering gene therapy to the liver. So there are other things that are coming up, and then there is lentivirus vectors. So I'm not that thrilled about it, nor I'm too disappointed about it, but it's okay. Here are two things that bother me a lot, apart from the lack of consolidation of the acquisitions. The first one is that Kahn, Zwick and Forty LLC, which is a law firm, is investigating the allegations from Scorpion Capital about DNA being a shell game with revenue being cycled within its own companies. In other words, the companies that it has taken over, which are its subsidiaries, are placing orders with it, and Ginkgo is giving them money to pay for it. So that's something to that effect is the allegations. So these are all allegations. They have not been proved. But the fact remains that law firm is investigating them, and they may accumulate people, stockholders, for a class action. So that's a risk factor which I'm not very thrilled about. The second thing that I would like to point out is that Zymergen had $74 million at SVB, and we don't know if all that has been recovered. Recently, DNA made a public offering of $100 million. We do not know the purchase price of StrideBio's asset and what the cash runway for DNA looks like going forward. Are they going to do another share issue? I don't know. I bought 1,200 shares a fortnight ago at $1.54, and I thought I was very close to the floor at that time. Since then, the share has fallen to below $1.20 as of today. Though the proposition of DNA seems promising, it seems to be a high-risk bet at this point of time. I am tempted to put some money into it and dollar cost average down. But a part of me says that it will be like gambling, because my spidey sense says that this company is looking more and more to me like Theranos, Like they have got all these high-tech things like full stack development company and Enzyme Intelligence. So they are starting to use buzzwords, which is scary. So overall, I don't know. But do you think that this is a cheap buy and will give 100% appreciation in or more in 12 months as the market improves? Is it worth a gamble? What are your thoughts about it? I would like to hear that. So please put that in the comments below so that I can get a feeling of what the community is thinking about this share and its position at this point of time. And yeah, that's all I have about this company. And friends, if you like this video, please do not hesitate to put a like out there. It helps YouTube to show this video to others like you who may like this kind of a content and helps the channel grow. And if you're one of those 54% of viewers of this channel who have not subscribed, please subscribe, because it's absolutely free and you'll be helping the channel grow. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.